Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Tuesday, December 28, 2021. The sun is in Capricorn, and this year is about to end. I find it poetic that this year or solar cycle is ending at the same time as this lunar cycle. So, as we sweep up the leftover stuff from the past month and the past year, gathering and releasing all that no longer works for us, we also turn within to give consideration. What's next? What goals are we already working toward? And importantly, what are those unexpressed personal desires for attainment? Because now, in the darkening days leading up to the new moon, now is the time for that which is hidden to be searched for and revealed. And having been revealed, Capricorn lends us the drive to realize those desires through thoughts, words, and actions. The moon begins today in Libra, making ingress to Scorpio this afternoon. So here's another shift in our feelings and domesticity from cardinal air to fixed water, from discussing the plans to setting them in motion. The waning crescent phase of this moon encourages us to let go anything that doesn't help us move forward. Okay, let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. The legend is here, and I will go over it with you now so we can start with an idea of what energies are in play. Always and forever, we have the sun at the top of our list. The sun represents the outer life. This is who we are on the outside when we step out the front door, and this is the person that people first get to know when they meet us. And it also is how we come to engage in our social, civic, and work spheres. The moon represents our inner life. This is more about our relationship with ourselves, what we feel, what we know, where we are at home, our domestic sphere, and who is there with us. Mercury represents the intellect, especially our day-to-day thoughts, plans, and communications. Venus represents love and money, or how do we relate to those people and things that we value the most. Pluto represents depths or extremes like death and rebirth, or the high highs and the low lows of our experience. Jupiter is about growth, positive expansion, good vibrations. Mars is your personal sense of initiative, whatever that spark is in your heart that gets you up and going through the day. And Uranus represents change because it often just comes around and asks us to do things differently, whereas Saturn is about the structures that we rely on for support and also the responsibility we take on to maintain those structures. And one last one, we have Chiron down here somewhere. There he is. Chiron represents healing. As for aspect energies, we have several of them on the page today. We have 3 squares to start off our morning. And square does represent the potential for challenges, so we're really going to talk about that in a minute. And then we have some trine action here. Trine is a very positive vibration, and it indicates that things are going very well for us. Ingress is a sign of transition, as a planetary body is literally moving out of one sign and into the next. Quincunx is a variable energy, which just says we know that something will come of this, but we don't know what it will be. And conjunct tends to amplify the effects of both of the planets involved. Signs of mention on the page today are Capricorn, Libra, Scorpio, and Pisces. Okay, so with all of that said, I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner lives and it sets the tone for our emotional experiences and our domestic relations. The moon moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may bring up moods, feelings, and intuitions for us throughout the course of the day. The sun sheds light on our outer lives, and I address the rest of the planets on this side because these aspects take longer and they have more to do with our actions and interactions out in the world. We have a lot of aspects on the page today, and we start with the moon, Central Standard Time, friends. So at 2:56 this morning, the moon went square with Mercury. Here, the emotions are in a challenging position with the intellect. This tension can create some moodiness or irritability. I encourage you to ignore any impulse to tell other people about themselves. Instead, perhaps it would be better just to mind our own behavior. It's a 2-hour aspect. And with these squares, I always say if we can manage to, behave ourselves well through the course of that aspect, then we don't have to drag it into the rest of the day with us. Because it can start with a feeling and then it can just turn into a whole mood. And I'm not really interested in a moody or irritable mood following me throughout the day. And I hope you're not either. And then at 6:19, the moon makes a square with Venus. So the emotions here are in a challenging position with our most valued relationships. And Venus is in retrograde. So these things are already under review for us. Let's try not to be moody or self-indulgent because those kind of attitudes can get in the way of our ability to relate. Another 2-hour aspect. Moody or self-indulgent. And then at 8:06, the moon makes a square with Pluto. The emotions here are in a challenging position with the extremes of our experience. This can lead us to behave outside ourselves in ways where we don't feel entirely in control. I see the Venus and Pluto conjunct here, making a parting shot, throwing some uncertainty and recklessness into the mix. Whatever you do, understand that this is not the time to end something that has been important. It may be a good day to create some space in those relationships that are under review so that we can hope to avoid doing and saying things we don't mean and would probably regret. Challenges with intense feelings. So I call this like a 3-square scare right here. And yes, it's happening from 3 a.m. to about 10 a.m. That is 7 hours, friends. That is a very good portion of your morning that is taken up with square aspects. So if you find yourself feeling moody or irritable, if you find yourself feeling, to hell with everybody else, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And if you find yourself reacting strongly because you're having intense feelings, all I can say is be cool, Fonzies. The payoff for getting through those feelings, for sitting with them and dealing with them in a healthy way, in a way that doesn't cause extra strife in our relationships and in our home and in our emotions, in a way that doesn't make this any bigger than it has to be. The better that we can do that, the better we're going to, ease into this afternoon where the good news is. Where the good news is. Because at 3:10 in the afternoon, Moon makes a trine with Jupiter. Incredibly, this aspect indicates good fortune and happy relating in the heart and home. Good moods and easy communication are indicated, especially in regards to those things we seek to expand. So, if you come into this afternoon, not even having on your mind what things you'd like to grow and make bigger and better because you're too wrapped up in the ideas of what you want to put away and what you want to stop thinking about, then you might miss this golden opportunity of good fortune and easy communication. And then just like 6 minutes later, the moon makes ingress to Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio. Now, I have to think that this is a good sign because these two things happen at virtually the same time. So I have to think this is great. The moon makes ingress to Scorpio while it is still in this trine with Jupiter. Moon in Scorpio is a time for introspection. We can pick out the truth at the core of our feelings more easily at this time. We may be a little irritable or guarded, at least, when it comes to sharing. Now is the time to clear the deadwood. Perfect waning crescent vibes. This transit lasts 2.5 days. Turn within. Clear the brush. So the overall lunar energy signature today presents some struggles and some good opportunities to check our impulses and to reaffirm our commitments through words and actions. Through intent focus on letting go of attitudes and expectations that don't serve us, we can move forward without a bunch of unspoken trouble left sitting in our inboxes. If you know what I mean. As for the sun side of the page, Venus retrograde and Venus conjunct Pluto. Venus is in retrograde through January 29. Venus and Pluto have been making a conjunct that amplifies the effects of both of these planets. So that's our love and money habits and the high highs and the low lows of our experiences. This one is on its way out tomorrow, friends. Because Capricorn is heavily involved here, the theme of this retrograde and conjunct may have more to do with our work and finances than our love lives. Venus and Pluto are drifting apart now and won't come back to this aspect until March. I encourage you to make some notes regarding what you learned about your desire and your ability to attract, especially if you found any behaviors that make you less popular with your loved ones. Think of those lessons learned as a leg up. Improved approaches to our love and money will bring us more satisfaction and support in the long run. Saturn square Uranus, on the other hand, will be with us through January 6th. Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn currently rules the day. Saturn in aspect with Uranus now has us feeling some pressure to do things differently when it comes to the people and networks we rely on. The square energy of this aspect says we are likely to meet some challenges while we work through the changes. And of course, change is inevitable. We may have felt some strong urge at this time to force changes, in fact. Instead, I encourage you to remain dedicated to self-review and to make no firm commitments to end anything that we've come to rely on until at least February 1st. And today is day 4 of 4 for Mars trine Chiron. And this aspect has given us an energetic boost to our healing capacity. We perceive that there are things that we can do to help ourselves improve, whether that's physically or in our hearts and minds, or even in our ability to connect with others. Seek out that positive, active outlet for whatever frustrated, unhealed energy you've been harboring. As for today, this evening at 7:04 p.m., Mars makes a quincunx with Uranus. This is an aspect that comes up about 3 times a year, and it tends to have us feeling a little restless, wild, and even reckless. We may act on impulses in an unpredictable way that upsets the people around us. We may also be prone to accidents. Remember your plans and commitments, my friends. This aspect lasts about 4 days. Avoid being reckless. I don't know any other way to say it, any better way to say it. Sit your butt down and do what you said you'd do. Dang it. And then at 10:09, Jupiter makes ingress to Pisces. Jupiter is the planet for liberation. It brings good fortune, positive expansion, and opportunities to grow. When Jupiter is in Pisces, we find liberation through the practice of compassion and creativity. Because Jupiter has a 4-month retrograde every year, it tends to make ingress a few times throughout the year between the current sign and the coming sign. This year, Jupiter will move between Pisces and Aries a couple of times, so we will tend to vacillate between finding our liberation through compassion and creativity, Pisces pursuits, and finding our liberation through action and radical invention, which are Aries pursuits. In any case, from now through May, we are likely to find the most positive growth in our outer lives through engaging in creative pursuits and showing compassion for the experiences of those around us. Through May. Find liberation through compassion and creativity. And look, I'm saying Jupiter is your good luck planet. He's the good fortune guy. Even in square aspects, it's hard to see Jupiter doing anything bad for us. So, um, you know, Jupiter in Pisces, if you can just exercise a little more compassion or bring that into your heart, and if you can bring some creativity to the things that you do, bring a little artistry, remember what you know, learn something new about it. This is going to be expansive for you. It's going to help you grow, and it might help you grow your empire as well. Tomorrow, Mars will make a sextile aspect with Saturn, giving us a boost of endurance to make progress on our favorite structural projects. And there will be a new moon in Capricorn this Sunday. Capricorn, Capricorn, Capricorn. And we'll talk about these things and more as they arise. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Tuesday, December 28, 2021. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up here for a little bit longer so that you may have time to look it over. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.